Welcome back to Great Day SA. Right now, our entire community is trying to cope with what happened exactly a week ago today on the Guadalupe River. If you've been needing some advice on how to cope with so much tragedy, we have the experts here to provide great guidance. I want to welcome Valeria, Lerma, and Kimberly Goodwin. They are licensed clinical social workers at San Antonio Behavioral Hospital. Ladies, thank you for being here. What you're going to share with our audience is so needed right now.
Thank you very much for having us.
What are the psychological effects of a natural disaster like this, especially like right down the street from us, it feels like?
Yes, disasters like this, they shake us to our core, not just mentally and emotionally, but also physically. And it's something that the entire community feels. And it is so important to really pay attention to those signs in order to make sure that we can facilitate healing and that we can move on from this.
It is so true because, of course, the victims' families, the parents, how can you even ever fathom this, right? But it's also us who are watching constantly on Ken's 5 or wherever you get your media from. You're seeing the continued devastation and the rescue efforts. So what would y'all say are some of the strategies for coping for individuals, for families, for first responders?
I do think it's important to understand that there are different manifestations of symptoms and reactions to trauma. Again, there is the mental, the thought that is the function regulated by different parts of our brain, but the what could I have done, things like that. And then the feelings that are associated with that. And then the bodily sensations, that the felt sense of safety that is just not there. And so Kim, if you would like to join in on some of these coping strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything we can do to restore our sense of safety, because that's kind of what's taken away when something terrible like this happens. It really shakes, like Valeria said, shakes us to our core. So anything that we can do to feel grounded and safe, one of the biggest things that we can do is, something that was a segment earlier on this show is help others and show up and receive help, right? Receiving help is experiencing healing because you're allowing yourself to feel safe.
Yes, and so all of these things, I think people need to maybe be okay with not being okay. We always say that phrase, and maybe awareness will help you cope as well with everything you guys recommended right now. If someone is definitely like, I need some help, I don't know, maybe I'm embarrassed to reach out, what can they do to get mental health help?
Yes, of course. What's important to know as well is when these disasters occur and when these traumas take place, like Kimberly said, knowing that the support is out in the community and knowing when to reach help. Being able to understand that it is normal to have intrusive thoughts and intrusive memories, to have maybe even some physical sensations, heart race, inability to sleep. All of that is a normal response to a very overwhelming event. So that in and of itself does not mean that there is a trauma disorder present. And I think that is what kind of scares most people, is that they're having that very normal response, and then the mind comes in and says, is this ever going to go away? What's happening to me? Why haven't I moved on like this other person or this other person? And the reality is that you are experiencing something that is absolutely normal. And being able to be open to that and really facilitate the complete healing, mind, body, and our spirit was really what's going to help us to move on. And so in order to do that, you want to be able to reach out for support. You want to be able to know what are the red flags to look for, what is normal, what is kind of indicating something else. Kimberly, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's different for kids, for teens, for adults. In kids, you might see a lot of regression, bedwetting, like going backwards kind of in development, becoming more aggressive or hostile because they don't know how to express those feelings yet. So, parents can do a really good job of just meeting their kids where they're at. Teens might become more isolative. They may withdraw socially, so may adults. But, it's really important to not isolate. It's always saying, like, you don't have to need help. You don't have to need help to deserve help.
Yes, that's so true. But you two seem the perfect people to be able to help. How do your services help someone in our community, and can anyone reach out to you guys?
Absolutely, yes. Really looking at the after effects of an event like this, is pretty complex. You have to assess someone's emotional state, someone's mental state, how they're processing the event, and also their physical state. And you also want to know, is this situational? Are there certain helpers? What are risk factors? What are protective factors? That really helps determine the type of treatment that is necessary. So at San Antonio Behavioral Health, we offer free assessments to everyone in the community. We also are out there providing education to our service members, to our CIT police officers. So we are very well versed in the diverse needs of the community. And you could just give us a call. It's 24/7. We can complete that assessment, and whether you need intensive outpatient services, inpatient services, or referrals to the community, we can definitely provide those, absolutely tailored to your needs.
Well, thank you so much for being there for our community and whatever they may need, because everybody's very different and copes differently as well. You guys have a wonderful event coming up on the 26th where maybe people can meet some of you, but you're also giving back to kids in our community, which is really nice.
We are. San Antonio Behavioral Health is hosting an event on July 26th called Elevate and Educate. And this is a big resource fair where we're going to have over 75 community partners provide wellness resources, activities, and free backpacks, free school supplies. We're going to have the Children's Bereavement Center there and some trusted partners such as Clarity Guidance Center also providing support to kids. But in light of the event, we are expanding our efforts and we want to be able to provide backpacks for Kerrville and the surrounding area with school supplies, backpacks, therapeutic items, hygiene items. And so yes, if anyone is interested in donating and contributing to that effort, please scan that QR code that you saw on the screen.
Well, thank you, Valeria and Kimberly. You were both just so warming to our hearts this morning. I hope that you get some people reaching out to you and definitely attending that event. Great Day SA. We'll be right back.